Hi, everyone. A couple notes about lesson planning before you get started on this inquiry project. Um, Lesson planning is about the way in which you think about instruction. Although you're working with a template, what I want you to imagine if we were in class together is that this lesson plan template is cut into a bunch of pieces. It's cut apart. And every little bit is a different part, and they're all jumbled together on a table. And you need to think about the order in which your students encounter instruction and the order in which you plan instruction. Those are two completely different things. And so lesson plan is really about how you think about the elements of instruction. It's about the habits of your mind, the way that you think about your standards, the way that you think about differentiation. And it's about putting it down on paper. When I used to teach English language arts, I used to tell my students that writing is proof of thinking. And that to say, I don't have anything to write, really meant you don't have anything to think, which isn't true at all. So when you encounter lesson planning, I want you to think about it as the habits of your mind and the habits of your students' mind, the way in which you want them to interact with their content, the way in which you want to take evidence of what they know, and the way that you want to expand their thinking. We can't model that in this online space, but if you could cut apart that template and mix them all around, there's really no order to it. It doesn't happen from top to bottom. It still is backwards design, but we need to capture it. And here's some things to think about. The purpose of lesson planning is, first of all, to create a collaborative document so that you can work with your professional learning community. You can work with someone else on your content team, and you can have evidence of your own thinking in writing, is to create an archive. When I lesson plan, I have not only the plan, but I have the notes and the reflections from after that lesson so that I can see iterations of it over time, whether it's digital, whether it's something you print out and then put sticky note reflections on, is to create an archive of your thinking. And it's also to develop a road to the story of your teaching. So when you enter your professional year and you're working collaboratively with your mentor teacher, you're creating an archive for your liaison, you're providing evidence of thinking for your mentor teacher and your liaison. That develops a road to the story of your teaching so that we can go back and reflect on it and think about it. The last thing I want you to know is that you already know how to do most of this. If you look at the lesson plan template, most of the elements that are on it are already things that we've learned in class. There's a reason for that. We do the lesson planning session last for a reason, because you've worked with all of these things already. One of the pieces that we didn't get to in our face-to-face time together was modeling more of the engaging strategies, but you have seen Angel and I working with those every single time that we're together. And so we're hoping and relying on some of the memory that you have to draw on some of the engaging strategies, but you also have all of the books for the course, including the Strategic Teacher, which we haven't even moved into yet. You have, roll my card over, lots of ideas in this text, hundreds of ideas here for differentiation in groups and in individuals, and even for formative assessments, and lots of ideas here also. So we're trusting that when you do the lesson planning, the only section that you haven't actually done is the lesson sequence that you'll see in the middle. All of the other things you already know how to do, and this will be you pulling all of the pieces together. Please also realize that next year in your professional year and in your methods classes, we'll be reviewing this. We know how the world is working. We know everyone is in the same boat, and we're going to make sure that you get the instruction that you need for lesson planning and get a little bit more practice. So off you go. Have some fun.